Hello students, welcome back to semi-solid dosage forms, which is a unit 4 of pharmaceutics 1. This is the second part of semi-solid dosage forms. In the previous video we have seen what is the definition, classification, and we have seen what are the examples of various semi-solid dosage forms. There we started with the ointment base. What is ointment base? How the ointment base should be, and just a classification. Now in this video we will complete about the various ointment bases and the factors affecting the penetration of the drug. Now these ointment bases are of 4 types. The 4 types of the ointment bases are, there are 4 types. These ointment bases are of 4 types. These includes oleogenous bases, absorption bases, emulsion bases, and water soluble bases. What are the 4 types of ointment bases? Oleogenous, as the name indicates, it consisting of a water insoluble material, okay, oily type of material. Absorption means which absorb water. Emulsion means which consisting of oil in water type of bases. Water soluble means which are soluble in water. Okay, first that you have to remember. Now first let us see what are oleogenous bases. As I said, these are water insoluble hydrocarbons. What are these? Water insoluble hydrocarbons. And the main examples of the oleogenous bases are, number 1, petrolatum, which is also called a soft paraffin. Number 2, hard paraffin. And number 3, liquid paraffin. Petrolatum called as soft paraffin, hard paraffin, and liquid paraffin, which is also called as white mineral oil or liquid petroleum. Now for each of these particular example we will see 2 to 3 properties, not more than that. Now the first one, what is this particular petrolatum? Petrolatum, it is a semi-solid hydrocarbon obtained from petroleum. Semi-solid hydrocarbon obtained from petroleum. Melting point is 38 to 56 degrees. But this particular petrolatum is not used especially for ophthalmics. Why? It causes irritation and it has bleaching action or bleaching agent. It is going to act as a bleaching. It removes the color. Okay. Now second one, hard paraffin. As the name indicates, it is also obtained from petroleum, petrolatum. It is a purified mixture of solid hydrocarbons obtained from petroleum, used to harden the base because it is a solid hydrocarbon, colorless, white in color or translucent in color, and it is odorless and tasteless. These are the 3 points which you need to remember. It is purified mixture of solid hydrocarbon obtained from petroleum, used to harden the ointment base, colorless, white or translucent, odorless and tasteless. Now the third one, liquid paraffin. Liquid paraffin, also called as white mineral oil or liquid petroleum. This is also a mixture of liquid hydrocarbons, again obtained from petroleum itself. But this is soluble in ether, chloroform, insoluble in water. All these 3 are also insoluble in water here. Okay, and these are used along with soft and hard paraffin to adjust the consistency. So what are the 3 examples of oleogenous bases? Petrolatum, soft paraffin, hard paraffin, liquid paraffin. Done? Now there are some disadvantages. As I said, they are mainly having oily in nature. They are oily in nature. Therefore they are very greasy, very sticky, difficult to wash from the skin and cloth, and at the same time they do not help in absorption of medicament because it is completely oily in nature. If you just remember this particular point, you can write the disadvantages. Very greasy, sticky, difficult to wash from skin and clothing, do not help in absorption of medicament. Now therefore we have second type of bases. What are the second type of bases? Called as absorption bases. Absorption bases are the bases which absorb water. They have water absorbing capacity. And why they absorb water? Mostly they are anhydrous in nature. Therefore they can absorb lot of water. They have the property of absorbing more water At the same time, they retain ointment-like consistency. Okay, absorption bases called as water absorbing capacity is very high, anhydrous in nature, absorb large water, and they also retain the consistency of the ointment. And these are of two types, non-emulsified bases and water in oil emulsions. Non-emulsified bases, they absorb water. These are the example: wool fat, wool alcohol, beeswax, cholesterol, or water in oil emulsions. Now, what are the examples of these absorption bases? Wool fat, anhydrous alcohol, lanolin, sorry. Wool fat, which is also called as anhydrous lanolin. From where it is obtained? It is obtained from wool of sheep. As I said, it is also called as anhydrous lanolin. It can absorb 50% of its weight of water. And it is very important constituent or ingredients of simple ointment base and eye ointment base. Now, second one, hydrous wool fat. This is called as lanolin. It is also obtained from wool of sheep. As I said, it is called as lanolin. It is little insoluble in water but soluble in ether and chloroform. And how much of water is present in this? 30%. So 70% is wool fat and 30% is purified water, mainly used as emollient. Okay, these two comes under absorption bases. Now, other examples: wool alcohol, which contains not less than 30% of cholesterol. From where it is obtained? From wool fat by treating with alkali and separating the fractions of cholesterol and other alcohols. Okay, wool alcohol obtained from wool fat. When the wool fat is treated with alkaline substances, and where we separate the cholesterol and alcohol. Okay, beeswax. From where the beeswax is obtained? From honeycomb. It is white in color or yellow in color and generally used as stiffening agent. Okay, those are the advantages. Now, what are the disadvantages? Advantages and disadvantages. The main advantage is they can absorb water, they are highly compatible, they are heat stable, they can absorb large quantity of water, and they are used in anhydrous form or emulsified form you can use, but these are also little greasy. Now, the third one, emulsion bases. Emulsion bases are the bases which have a semi-solid or cream-like consistency. They are prepared from emulsifying wax, white soft paraffin, and liquid paraffin. Generally two types, oil in water, water in oil. Mostly oil in water are more popular because they are easily washable, because water is the external phase, my dear. That is the reason they are easily washable, external phase. Okay, so water in oil is the external phase, hence they are very greasy and sticky. Now, what are the water soluble bases? Water soluble bases are also called as greaseless ointment bases or carbowaxes. These are water soluble bases. I mean, simple examples include astragalus, gelatin, pectin, cellulose derivatives. What are the various examples of cellulose derivatives? Hydroxypropyl, methyl cellulose, HPMC, or methyl cellulose, or sodium carboxy methyl cellulose. These all can be used as cellulose derivatives, and sodium alginate also can be used as water soluble bases. Okay, now these are about the various ointment bases, which is very important, guys. Excuse me. Now, what are the factors governing the selection of the ointment base? How do you select the ointment base? The first and foremost important thing is that ointment base, it should be non-irritant. It should not cause any reactions as such, because it is applied onto the skin. So therefore, the first factors, these are called as dermatological factors. In the dermatological factors, absorption and penetration is very important. Absorption means entry of the drug into the bloodstream. Penetration means passage into the skin. because whatever the ointment I'm going to apply, this particular ointment, it need to cross the different layers of the skin, then only it can enters into the systemic circulation here. So therefore the first thing is that dermatological factors, which mainly we need to look into the absorption and penetration. So these two things, your ointment base should not interfere. I repeat, your ointment base should not interfere in the absorption and penetration of the drug. Now, effect on the skin function at the same time. As such, we know that the skin is a protective barrier. It is going to protect us from the heat, rays, as well as the dry conditions or whatever the environmental condition. Therefore, your ointment base, okay, it should, the greasy bases may sometimes interfere with the skin function. Therefore, it should not interfere with the skin function. Now, at the same time, your ointment base, it should be miscible with the skin secretions and serum secretions. Skin also will release the secretions in the form of a sweat or oils. All these things will be released. So your ointment base should not interfere with the functioning of the skin. Okay, and the ointment base should be compatible with the skin. At the same time, it should be free from irritant effect. It should have emollient properties, and it is easy to apply and remove from the skin. Okay, now pharmaceutical factors. Important thing is that it should be stable. It should not undergo oxidation, and it should have the solvent property. It should help in solubilizing your drug, and at the same time it should have emulsifying properties. These are the pharmaceutical properties. These are the references books. Thank you.